Hi, I'm Eric Smith. I'm the associate producer on Everquest Next and Everquest Next Landmark.
I'm Jake Sones. I'm the lead building and UI designer on EQN and EQN Landmark.
We're going to show you some of the more advanced tools today.
So over the last month, a lot of things have changed. We've gone through a couple more iterations, and it's just really fun and exciting to be able to show you guys how things have changed. The state of the tools right now, there's a lot of new stuff, but keep in mind that a lot of this is still not quite final. You're going to probably see some debug stuff, some stuff that's definitely not ready to go out into the game itself. But we wanted to take some time and show you what we're thinking, what direction we're headed. So, do you want to talk about the selection volume?
Yeah, so selection tool has actually changed a little bit since the last time we've shown it. A lot of people have been asking for the ability to move the box once you've actually made a selection. So we've added a widget in there that will actually allow you to move it on any axis. So let's say I need to create a block. I can fill this, and I can switch back and then make another one, and make another one, and so on. And that allows you to keep the same proportion. Alternatively, you could probably do that with copy and paste, but this allows more. It's quicker iteration, basically.
It's much faster. Oh, actually, could you bring that selection volume back up?
Yeah.
One of the things that we also changed is you can kind of see the dotted line on the bottom there. That helps you see things through the ground, so you have a better sense of where things are at. We've shown you line tool before, and I think it's kind of, we haven't really focused on how powerful the tool is and all the things that you can do with the tool. So Eric was just showing me this corner trick earlier, and I think it's a pretty good example of what kinds of things you can do. You want to talk about what you did real quick?
Because
and then
you can actually change the sizes of the brush from end to end. I can actually create corners by making the brush smaller and bringing it up to the corner here. So that actually makes, like, if you're trying to make a corner of a castle or something and make it at a angle other than 45 degrees, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that a lot of this stuff is still earlier on, so there's definitely some more polish that's going to go into this, but the ease of use is something that we're really happy with and something that we're going to keep focusing on.
So this is something I've been working on in a castle. It's basically just a bunch of stairs with columns and arches. And what I want to do is make this on the other side, but mirrored. So what we can do is we can actually take this entire thing, copy it, go on this side, paste it, and then hit M to mirror.
Oops. I'm going to make sure you're in the right axis. There you go. So the benefit of mirroring is that you can have it face a different direction. As opposed to just rotating it, he's now got his stairs aligned on the same side, which is something he couldn't do without mirroring. It's something that people brought up in the last live stream, and we just didn't get a chance to show you. It's been in for a while, and it's a really useful feature.
Cool. So yeah, basically you can see I've now pasted this on the other side, and it's mirrored.
We also didn't really talk too much about grid mode before, and one of the big things that we've got in now is the ability to move on grid and stay on grid, not just for the cube tool, but also for all of our shape blocks.
So you can see here I'm actually moving on, I'm on the grid, but it's on a 1x1 grid, which means you can kind of freely move the block. If I hit G, I basically snap to a grid mode. And this is really good when, like, you're building a foundation of a house and you want everything to be perfectly symmetrical, and you can kind of see how fast I'm building.
And making sure that there's no gaps between everything. Mm-hmm. Everything's very tight. And so if you'll choose like a shape block, you can see that it's really helpful to just do like the edging of this piece as well. Again, it's sticking to the grid, which just makes this so fast.
You don't have to worry about getting it right along the edge or worrying about something hanging off. It just snaps to grid, and again, you can build really quickly.
But again, you're not constrained to that. At any point, you could decide that you want to go off grid and move in as finite a space as we allow you to. So it's a really powerful tool and a really powerful way to use it.
Right.
So these arches are a pretty interesting shape. You want to talk about how you made some of them?
Yeah, so I mean, the arch is pretty common piece in architecture. So there are lots of ways to build arches in our game. In this method, I actually went with a individual box and made a kind of abstract arch. And from here, you can actually take the selection tool, grab this whole thing, and basically just smooth it out until it is a smooth arch. So
Nice. Yeah, it works really well.
There you go. I mean, that took, 5 seconds. I know you guys have a lot of questions from the previous live stream, so we're going to try and answer a few right now.
So people were asking if buildings can float, if we can make things that float, and we absolutely can. We can do that right now. Eric's making a selection volume, and he's just going to pull that selection volume up off the ground and fill it, and voila, you now have a floating foundation that you can use to build whatever you want on top of. People were asking if you could use cube and sphere for every tool. Yeah, every tool we have, you can use it in either mode, and we found it pretty useful. There was a time where I thought maybe we wouldn't need cube in specific modes like painting, but it turns out when you're doing edging along things, it's really important to have that nice straight line. So we kept them on all the tools. Painting is actually a good segue into, people were asking if painting uses up resources. It does. It's important to keep in mind that when you're painting, you're not just putting things on top of other things, but you're actually swapping out what was there for the new material.
Right.
And when you remove the old material, you gain that material back and you expel the material that you are painting with. You can see how Eric's cutting away. It's important to remember that it's not just the surface voxels that are changing, but as large as the sphere is, you are painting everything that touches it. People were asking about interactive props like doors and things like that. They're absolutely planned. We have a couple that are in process right now. We're not quite ready to show them, but they'll be coming along, so keep your eyes peeled. Flying in your plot is another thing that came up. Flying will be unlocked via progression in your plot only. We're not going to let people fly everywhere throughout the world. That would just be too powerful and kind of ruin the game experience. So the voxel size is another thing that people were curious about. We're still tweaking those. We've got a bunch of different zones in the game where we're trying out different sizes of not just voxels, but different sizes of brushes. Meaning, does the cube have a 1x1 or 1x1x1 voxel, a 2x2x2 voxel, or a 3x3x3 voxel? And we're still playing with all those scales and trying to see what feels right. But this is where we're at right now, and we're pretty happy with it.
All right, that about wraps it up for advanced tools. Hopefully we've answered some of your questions. Feel free to contact us on Facebook and Twitter. We're on Reddit and the Founders Forums as well. So we're watching and we're waiting, and let us know what you think.